Originally, the idea for the film came when I was changing my daughter's nappy, and I was actually doing this, and I just had this incredible feeling of love for my daughter, and I thought, well, this feeling is so strong, I wonder if it's strong enough that it will survive me dying, if that feeling would still be there. And that gave me an idea for somebody who died, but had such a strong feeling of love that he would come back as a ghost to protect the thing he loved.
Go! Time is now. It's 5 minutes past, so it's 20 past 10. And it's still raining. Oh yeah, it has stopped. That's why we're setting up.
But my wife said, there's no way you're putting our baby in the middle of the road and driving cars at her, and I thought, well, fair enough. And so we changed it to his wife or girlfriend, whatever. And actually, I think that idea worked better anyway.
Makes you look like a cat. If you look over here, your eyes will glow up pink. I mean, white. No, they don't.
They don't?
Yep, Ames's do.
There is a hint of the original idea in the film, in that there's a baby on board sticker in the back of the car, which is kind of a little tribute to the original idea. The lights were getting very hot, and the rain was kind of falling, and at one point a piece of rain fell on a bulb which was pointing upwards, and it just exploded, which was quite frightening.
Richard, can I see you in? Sorry.
Yep.
It's hard to see the screen.
We were doing an incredibly difficult shot where I was trying to wedge the camera behind the steering wheel. I knew I wanted something that was kind of chaotic and had confusion and that sort of thing.
Adam, could you wire up the TV? Because I can't see the monitor here, but if you could turn the TV towards me and give me the wire, I can actually frame it off that. This is the great auteur at work. Russ Meyer never had it so good.
You had a great Russ Meyer.
You did, he shagged all those women.
Yeah.
And so I was putting the camera behind the steering wheel. It really didn't fit. It was very awkward. I couldn't see the monitor. I had to sit in the car, which meant that Amy, the actress, couldn't be in the car either, and she was leaning across.
I fall down because now I can't see.
And suddenly I was kind of looking at it, and I realised that the exposure was wrong, that it had actually gone onto auto exposure, which is digital cameras do. And I just suddenly had no idea how long it had been like that. So I had to look back at the footage, and about 2 hours of the past footage had been on auto exposure, which in the dark meant it was really grainy, completely unusable. It looked like it was in the middle of the day. So I kind of froze up and carried on shooting the scene I was doing with the exposure right.
Yeah, I'm just looking for confusion, really.
I had to admit to everyone what I'd done, and then we had to go back and refilm. However, what actually happened was we actually got the 2 hours worth of work done in about 15-20 minutes, and it was actually much better the second time anyway, so it was actually one of these kind of happy accidents.
Marcus, what do you think about The Matrix?
The Matrix. You are the one.
Really? Where is he?
Right, are we gonna... It's locked as well. Yeah. Is it worth doing driving shots? How would you two be fixed to come back sort of tomorrow night for, an hour and do some driving shots?
What's tomorrow night?
Sunday.
I have a sort of theory that God hates filmmakers, but everybody else loves us. And that really was borne out making this film. It took 3 nights to film in the middle of summer, so very short nights. It just rained. It was completely wrong for the film, but everybody that was involved was just so helpful. People were just kind of allowing us to set lights up. They let us use a public toilet where we could have plugs, and we also kind of doubled up as a green room. Thank God for pot noodle, because that's how I fed the crew.
We're going to where they're going to.
Where we did the crash. Oh, in there, yeah.
There's only 2 special effects films in the entire film. One of them is the final shot where there's 2 images of Richard, and the other one is the shot when the car's driving towards Amy, which is actually only 8 frames long. But it was just too dangerous to have her lie in the road and have somebody drive a car at her at top speed.
In your own time then?
To do the final shot of the film, we knew that the car couldn't move. I knew it was going to be a double exposure with Richard lying across the steering wheel and his ghost appearing, so the car couldn't move. So we jacked it up so that it didn't move at all. We locked all the camera and everything. Richard got into the car, sat down,
Very still.
and then just lay there for about 30 seconds, kind of completely still.
Okay.
So that isn't actually a freeze frame. The shot of him dead isn't a freeze frame. It is actually him.
I don't know, come and tell me what you think.
Oh, that's good.
That one there doesn't look very good, does it? It doesn't look like it begins anywhere.
Well, it could have been drip from there.
Yeah, that's true, yeah.
I'm going to be like that though, so...
Try not to get any hands because it feels like
What is it?
it's fruit colouring and syrup.
Cool.
Is that alright, Ray?
I think so. I think maybe he needs a bit more.
A bit more. Okay, in the
do
same
it.
places or new streaks?
I think more new, if you don't, yeah.
Yeah, sure.
How are you doing this? Who's doing this?
Me. Paintbrush.
You had loads here, didn't you, yesterday? This is the side of your face that we're going to see, mostly. So.
It's a good gash.
Yeah. Need some dripping blood.
You need the drip.
Oh, it's thick, isn't it? So if I'm about here...
We didn't record any sound on the film. All the sound was post-synced. Apart from Tex's dialogue, that was going to be post-synced, but unfortunately he died before we actually finished editing the film. So his dialogue is actually what was recorded there and then, which in one place was never recorded properly because I never intended to use it, and I've had to kind of disguise that fact quite carefully by kind of putting the music on and allowing for it to sort of not be very good quality. Luckily, the final line of the film was recorded relatively okay just on the camera mic, just because it was near enough to him and we didn't get any wind noise, but I wasn't paying any attention to sound at all while I was filming it. I just had the camera mics on to get guide tracks and that was it. It was an incredibly difficult process to actually post-sync the entire film, but it was quite rewarding. I tried to do a few experimental things. I knew that I wanted the ghost's footsteps to sound like the sound that footsteps make on a frosty morning at about 5 in the morning when there's frost on the ground. Although what we're seeing is a kind of summer sort of evening, because I wanted it to sound very weird. And actually what I did was actually get a crisp packet and crunch it very slowly lots of times, and that's actually how I got the sound of the ghost's footsteps, which has this kind of nice quality. In the mix, that kind of went right down, and so to some extent it's lost, but I think that's kind of the point in a way, is that it's not meant to be very loud.
Actually, could you walk in sort of from over there? It's really close, and it's just nice to just get to the frame, and then we've got a big close-up and pass out.
Everybody that was involved in the film really gave it their all, which was really wonderful because, I mean, nobody was really getting anything out of it except me, really. And just for them to be doing this was absolutely just such a great thing for me, and it was such a lovely experience to make this film.
Okay, thank you.
I had personally a really nice time, and I hope everybody else did, eating pot noodles and getting wet and having a laugh, I hope.